Hello everyone, and welcome back to, I should say, Star Wars Battlefront 2, where instead of one of my narrative campaigns, or just me randomly doing missions, I thought I'd go over how I would make a Star Wars Battlefront sequel, since, you know, the Star Wars Battlefront EA edition is coming out in November, and the answer to this question is... don't! Okay, fine. I'll go over it properly then. Alright, first off, I am very biased in this situation because I do not believe a sequel to Star Wars Battlefront 2 is necessary. In my honest opinion, I believe re-updating the game, putting back in multiplayer and maybe adding in a map pack is all you actually need, because the game looks fine. Maybe it doesn't in the video, but I'm actually playing it on max settings on my computer, and it looks great. It looks brilliant. I really like it. It looks fine. The gameplay is brilliant. It's simple, uncomplicated, and it's just brilliant. It's easy for anybody to do. Alright, so to make a sequel is a very difficult thing in the first place, because this game was very popular. All the people I've talked to who played this game have huge, huge respect and huge reputation for it. So, trying to make one already, a sequel to this very successful game, is already, a losing battle. And then you add EA doing it, and that just makes it worse. But anyway, it looks fine, the gameplay is fine. Look at this. You have equal classes on both sides, with the addition of 2 special units for each side. So, everything is purely balanced. You don't have to worry about overpowered weapons, or, gameplay balance issues. If you're, not getting as many kills as your mate while using the blaster rifle, it's probably because you're shit, as opposed to the weapon being overpowered. It looks fine, it still is fine, and it is fine. And I will keep hammering that point home until somebody gets it. Alright, although, to be fair, as much as I wouldn't want to see a sequel to this game, and I'd just rather see the multiplayer servers put back online, I suppose there are some things that could, realistically, let's be honest, and be improved. First off, as much as I hate the fact, well, not hate the fact, as much as I don't like the idea of adding new weapons into this game because it would ruin the balance, I think maybe adding new weapons is actually probably a good idea. Let's actually... when we next die, I will point it out to you. Look at that, shit like that, look, the AT-AT is going down. It's massively open, huge maps, brilliant gameplay. But, everyone's got to reboot something. It's just the way it is nowadays. Alright, so I'd like to see... maybe I'd like to see carbines, light weapons, maybe new pistols or special weapons introduced for the space combat marine sections where you can board other people's ships. Maybe give the marines carbines as opposed to blaster rifles, just to make it a bit more fair. I'd like to see more maps for this game. If you're doing a sequel, I'd love to see a real sequel. I'd like to see more real maps for this game. I mean, there's about 20 here now. I think 25, but it's still not as many as there could be. And the maps, while a lot of the maps like Hoth are really nice and big, a lot of the maps like Coruscant and Naboo are very small. And it's, you could do a bit more with the idea of it. So, upgraded weapons, adding back multiplayer, more maps, and maybe if you feel like it, add some more of the stuff from the Clone Wars, maybe some Clone War maps and Clone Wars characters, because I reckon that would be a good idea. As this game is divided up between the prequel and the original and the prequels trilogy anyway, you may as well sort of, buy it up. The hero system. Hero system has always been good. If you use a hero right, you are an unstoppable killing machine. If you mess it up, you're guaranteed to get yourself and your hero wiped out. So, the hero system is fine. I would like to see some more heroes, maybe add more Jedi, more maps with decent heroes as well. A lot of them you're forced to play as like Han Solo or Boba Fett, which are not actually good heroes when most people just want to play as the Jedi. Adding characters maybe like Ahsoka Tano, just a few of the Clone Wars Jedi characters that don't get much, you know, screen time or time on their own would be really good. I think that would be very, you know, good. Add a bit of gameplay variation to the Jedi. Apart from that, I like the fact that the hero's health bar down the bottom, which is the shape of the lightsaber, actually reverts to how many kills you get. So you get kills to restore health. And while you're an unstoppable killing machine, you can very easily get yourself wiped out. So the hero system is actually very balanced. If you're a good player, then you can wreck shit up like you don't believe. If you're a bad player, you die. And once again, I suppose the keynote down to this game is it's about skill. It's not about cheese or shit tactics. It's genuinely about skill. Because everything is balanced and everything has the same classes, you don't have people out-leveling you, and you don't have anything like that. So that's why in the sequel, well, my proposed sequel, there would be no level up. There would be no leveling, there would be no create class, no perk systems, none of it, because all that's gonna do is make it really irritating and really hard, and it's going to be a nightmare to balance. And to be honest, that shit ain't my Battlefront 2. So, yes. Out. There we go. Ouch. So, that's how I would do a sequel. Sequel to Star Wars Battlefront 2 would be, you'd start off with the base idea of this game, okay? You'd have a decent single-player campaign, because the single-player campaign in Battlefront 2 is actually really good. It starts the fall of the Empire, and the rise of the Empire, fall of the Republic. You start off as a clone trooper on Geonosis, and you fight your way through every iconic battle of the Clone Wars until you actually get to the point where you know, murder all the Jedi, which is a really awesome mission, and it's quite very sort of slightly moving in my personal opinion. But from there, you would move on to... Oh, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. 1 second. Oh, cool. No, we're carrying on. Good. Right, then you move on and you do all the things in the Republic line, and then it ends on Hoth in a really epic timed battle where your player character who's been narrating the whole thing goes, "We won! The rebels are dead!" When in reality it's not the case, and it's actually, you know, we all know what really happens, but it's really good. So, start off with a really good single player campaign. Maybe do one, The Rise of the Rebellion. Actually make that the campaign. Like, start off as a young rebel, you know, joining up just after the Clone Wars, and then go all the way through the key points of the Rebellion until you get to Endor. That would make a really great, interesting campaign. It wouldn't take away from the multiplayer, which is what most people play it for, and it would just be generally enjoyable and a fun little narrative. Second, add back in Galactic Conquest mode and make it be able to play online. I don't know why, but the Galactic Conquest mode, which I will not cut to footage of here because I can't be asked, is where you take control of one faction, say the Empire versus the Rebels or clones versus CIS, and your job is to take over the galaxy. You've got to fight space battles, you've got to take over planets, you've got to, you know, use your requisition and credits to unlock new troops, new unit types, help you win the battles easier. It is in-depth, it is simple, but it's also in-depth and fun. And I'd like to see that make an appearance. Well, make a reappearance, but add it as a local or online multiplayer, so each player commands a different fleet or something like that. And then that would make it, they'll make it fresh, but also keep it within the same sort of standards as the original.
Victory is ours.
Nice. So that would be what I'd want to see. I'd want to see decent single player campaign, add back in Galactic Conquest mode, and for online, I would like to see online, actually with functioning online, I'd like to see no class system, no perk systems, no pick 13 loadout systems. Just keep it. Respawn. Oh, don't want to kill the current player. And no respawn system. No, for fuck's sake. Apologies, audience. No loadout systems, no class systems. Add in new maps. Ooh, gonna get him. Nice. New maps, new characters, new weapons. new vehicles, new heroes, and maybe broaden the horizon while keeping in with the same gameplay as before. So, yeah, basically, I would love a modern update of this game with new maps, online features, characters, vehicles, while sticking with the classic Star Wars Battlefront 2 gameplay. Now, space battles, I think ages ago at the beginning of my channel, I made a video on what should be done with space battles. However, I think it's probably worth me going over it again one more time. Alright, space battles. First off, make these assault ships actually, I know I got murdered there, but actually worth something. Alright, I think the assault ships are probably one of the weakest parts of this. Second, turrets. Now, you're operating a massive laser beam turret, but it's actually worthless. All of these turrets are pretty piss useless, let's be brutally honest. A lot of them are guarded by the AI, but you have an equal amount yourself to navigate, and there's not much use for them. I mean, they're poorly positioned, so you can never get right in the action, and their armaments are very piss weak, so you're not going to be able to do much damage yourself. So I'd like to see turrets take a bigger role, and I'd also like to see... Ow! That hurt. I'd also like to see the escort ships. So you know how I was just pressing the scroll wheel and I was negotiating between turrets. I'd like there to be some player-controlled turrets on the frigates, so you can actually defend them easier, and you can actually have people, manning the guns on the frigates to keep them away from damage and actually do a lot more. I'd like to see all the ships actually move on a set determined course path. So actually have all the ships move around each other. That way turrets, at the back of the ship will suddenly get right into the front of the action by themselves. Just general things like that. So, see these turrets. I like to see some heavy turrets that are actually able to damage enemy shields and frigates, because that, once again, that will make turrets actually worth something, as opposed to, just being piss useless. Ships, I do like the amount of ships. You get one fighter, one bomber, one interceptor, one gunship, which is actually balanced and easy and simple and doesn't really need changing. Some people argue about, certain bombers being overpowered compared to the other faction's bombers and blah 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 blah, but you always get that. So, actually just do a general update. Make the cruisers and the turrets worthwhile. Make boarding actions, which I will do once I die here, actually worth something as well, because it's quite difficult and sort of pointless to do boarding actions at this stage in the game. Maybe, I wouldn't recommend it, but definitely add more frigates as opposed to any more cruisers if you want to add more things there. But the biggest thing I'd like to see is actually keeping space battles, you EA bastards! Fuck off with that, Battlefield 3 flying over the battlefield crap. You're in an X-Wing. You've got X-Wings and TIE fighters. You want to be double boosting, strafing, going underneath, enemy ships, flying, explosion, whoosh power. Hey, you don't want to be flying over a pissy little battlefield, strafing at tanks and infantry, and then occasionally getting a warning saying you've gone outside the map boundaries. Screw that shit. That's just gay. And I'm using gay in the terms of it's crap. Yeah, fuck you guys. But yeah, it's unnecessary and it's stupid. That's just my rant on that. But make space battles more fluid, more motion focused. Have the ships move around. Have the area where the two ships duel actually be bigger than, what it is now. Because it's a bit small at the moment. So it's not, where are we going? This way. So it's not, sort of... See, it's all quite very confined and very tight focused. So, broadening it out and expanding it, I think, would be a really great idea. Make turrets worthwhile. Add movement. Make the gunships maybe a bit more stronger, in my opinion. And make fighters and interceptors actually more focused to their jobs. I know that they're actually incredibly focused and it's pretty balanced as it is, but the V-Wing bomber on the Republic side is actually unbalanced, and it can take down fighters by itself, so that's just a minor issue. Alright, and now, my other thing is make boarding actions worthwhile. I'm going to do a boarding action here. Right? Really badass. You land your gunship into the thing, and you run out, and you go, ah, pew, 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 raid stuff, you know, run, 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 run. So you open up, you run in, auto turrets immediately start open firing on you, which murder you in 2 hits, which is slightly bollocks, but it's actually necessary. Then run up, and then you run up and destroy the critical systems, alright? Okay. How many critical systems are you thinking? Looking at that model of the ship, you would think that there would be 5. Wrong. There are 2. There's the auto turrets in there, engines over there, the shield generators in there, and then you've got life support in here. So realistically, through all the effort of boarding the enemy ship, you're actually probably easier job just to go outside the ship with a bomber and do that damage, as it's actually more efficient. The shield generator, in that room over there, takes about 8 bombs, which is impractical. It's easier just to, you know, do 20 bombing runs over the enemy bridge and blow up their shields that way. Right? So make boarding actions actually worthwhile. Make the ship interiors bigger, more expansive, and give there a reason for people to board ships, as opposed to just what they do now, which is they spawn camp the pilots, which is such a douchey thing to do back in the day when online multiplayer actually worked. So that's basically all I really want to see from a real Star Wars Battlefront 2 sequel. Make boarding worthwhile, make cruisers and destroyers have more of a sense of purpose, add more fluid to the movement, add in, I wouldn't recommend adding in new fighters and bombers. However, I've always felt for a laugh it would be hilarious, and just my personal opinion, if the way you get heroes in special in the regular campaign modes, where you can play as Han Solo or Anakin Skywalker or whatever, if you could actually play them in this game, you could play as the Millennium Falcon, or you could play as Luke's X-Wing fighter, and you get bonuses and buffs from that. I reckon that would be actually quite a bit of fun. But then again, it might be quite hard to balance, so I wouldn't superly recommend it. But yeah, I'm just spitballing here as to what I want to see out of a Battlefront 2 sequel. Removing space battles altogether is just fucking dumb. Stupid EA, whatever. Right, we don't want to turn this into an anti-EA board, so let us just carry on with maybe a couple more minor things we want to talk about. I love how you can steal any enemy plane. That just means you can rush in, blow up the auto turret sensors, then jump into an enemy plane and rush out again. That's just great to my mind. It's just brilliant. Oh yeah, here's the V-Wing, which I've stolen. As you can see, it's a bomber, right? But I just blew up with a direct hit. I blew up an ARC-170. So maybe limiting the firepower of the bomber slightly. But look at the map. Look, you can see the whole planet beneath you. You can see the sky. You can see other ships in the distance dueling. It's great. I don't understand why you'd remove space battles, but then I'm not the head of a multi-evil empire. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about space battles in Battlefront 2. And I will finish my summary up in the next battle. Hello everyone! Right, rounding off my summary. Okay, so we've talked about ground battles, how they need to add online multiplayer, more maps, more vehicles, more heroes, but do not add a class system, and keep the loadouts and stuff, you know, customizable characters and shit away from this game, because this is not what it needs, because it will be devastating to the game's balance. Adding new heroes is perfectly fine. Maps need to be slightly bigger, but I'd only recommend a quarter to half size bigger than they are now. Otherwise they'll get too big and you'll get a problem of players having to lug around the map desperately trying to figure out where they're supposed to go. And just, you'll turn it into too much of a commute and nobody will like it. Alright, that's like that. Keep these systems exactly the same. Do not add any more class systems. That's just stupid. What else do we need to talk about? New maps, new vehicles, new Jedi, new weapons. That's basically everything. For space battles, what you need to do is... Get him. You need to fix the fact that not many people like it. You need to add more fluid to the combat. You need to make cruisers, destroyers and turrets more worthwhile, and boarding actions need to have more of a purpose and a sense of weight behind them. Alright, well... Ooh, I got shot. Apart from that, that's everything actually I wanted to talk about, so we're going to finish the rest of this video ragging on EA. So, if you don't want to hear that, and fair enough if you don't, I thank you very much for watching and listening to my ideas, and I will see you again next time in Battlefront 2, because I ain't fucking buying the new one. Under any circumstances, you will never, ever, ever see me playing the new Star Wars Battlefront in this game. Well, on my channel, or in my personal life, ever. That is a promise I will make to you here and now. So, if you don't want to listen to me rag on EA, then thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you all again another time. Right, are they gone? Good, I hate those guys. Okay. Ragging on EA. Great. First off, fuck EA. It's like remaking Syndicate. You probably haven't heard of it, but remaking Syndicate, a tactical 90s grid-based squad shooter, as a generic first-person cover shooter. It's fucking dumb. It's like the idiots that wanted to remake, or that made XCOM, the Bureau XCOM Declassified as a first-person shooter, when you don't need to. XCOM 2012 is brilliant. Why the hell would you make it a first-person shooter? So I feel like, first off, a sequel to this game is unnecessary as it is, but I felt they could have saved it if they'd actually made a sequel decent, like what I just talked about. Instead, what have they done? Cut out space battles. Why the fuck would you do that? Space battles gave the galaxy and gave the game a greater feel of atmosphere. It made the game feel bigger. I mean, you'd fight in space, like Space Tatooine, you know, blow up the enemy ship, and then you'd land on the planet and, you know, fight that way, and it made the galaxy feel big. Galactic, you know, not Galactic mode, what is it? Galactic Conquest mode actually did that really well. You'd fight in space if there was an enemy fleet, and then you'd land on the enemy planet and you'd fuck it up. That was great. And then they just cut out space battles and Galactic Conquest. Fuck off. Who are you run by? A bunch of idiots? Oh wait, it's EA. Duh. Secondly, you're adding in loadouts and bonuses and classes to this game. What are you, a bunch of idiots? That will completely ruin the game's balance. I saw E3 footage of the guys erecting that shield that deflected bullets. How hard do you think it is gonna be for players to find an abusive little glitch or something and completely destroy the balance of the game and get everyone pissed off? First off, EA and making, you know, online games, that really goes down well. We all remember, you know, how awful Battlefield 4's launch was, for fuck's sake. You're gonna try and do it again? What, do you think you'll get better with repetition? Does someone need to remind you what the definition of insanity is, EA? Alright. With that being said, secondly, cutting out all the heroes. What the hell is wrong with you? Yes, people like playing as Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, but they also like playing as Ayla Secura, or Adamundi, or Darth Maul. What, are you going to get rid of them just because it's not Luke versus Vader? Yes, I agree that some people don't like the prequels, and I can truly actually understand why. But that seems a completely stupid idea just to completely try and remove it, just for the sake of, you know, you getting more pennies out of it. And then what, you make new hero characters, you know, paid for DLC. So you have to pay $20 to play as Boba Fett. You're just not even trying at this point. You're a bunch of idiots with no soul or integrity whatsoever. Then you're telling me you're going to make more maps. They're only going to be on the the original movies plus the new one. Wow, so all those people who want to play on Geonosis or Felucia or stuff, they can eat shit. Is that right, EA? You are disgusting. And I am never playing any of your Star Wars Battlefront games, no matter how hard you try and force me. Goodbye, everybody.